We go by one of the stone margins now, and the stream of the rivulet makes a shade above it, guarding the stream and the banks from the flaming snow. As the Flemings in the lowland between Bruges and Wissant, under constant threat of the sea, erect their great dikes to hold back the deluge, as the Paduans along the shores of the Brent build levees to protect their towns and castles lest Sherry and Tana drown in the spring torrent, to the same plan, though not so wide nor high, did the engineer, whoever he may have been, design the margin we were crossing by. Already we were so far from the wood that even had I turned to look at it, I could not have made it out from where I stood. When a company of shades came into sight walking beside the bank, they stared at us as men at evening by the new moon's light stare at one another when they pass by on a dark road, pointing their eyebrows toward us as an old tailor squints at his needle's eye. Stared at so closely by that ghostly crew, I was recognized by one who seized the hem of my skirt and said, "Wonder of wonders, you?" And I, when he stretched out his arm to me, searched his baked features closely, till at last I traced his image from my memory. In spite of the burnt crust, and bending near to put my face closer to his, at last I answered, "Sir Brunetto, are you here?" "Oh, my son, may it not displease you," he cried, "if Brunetto Latino leave his company and turn and walk a little by your side?" And I said to him, "With all my soul I ask it, or let us sit together, if it please him who is my guide and leads me through this pit." "My son," he said, "whoever of this train pauses a moment must lie 100 years forbidden to brush off the burning rain. Therefore, go on. I will walk at your hem, and then rejoin my company, which goes mourning eternal loss in eternal flame." I did not dare descend to his own level, but kept my head inclined, as one who walks in reverence, meditating good and evil. What brings you here before your last day? What fortune or what destiny?" he began, "and who is he that leads you this dark way?" "Up there in the happy life I went astray in a valley," I replied. "Before I had reached the fullness of my years, only yesterday, at dawn I turned from it. This spirit showed himself to me as I was turning back, and guides me home again along this road." And he said, "Follow your star, for if in all of the sweet life I saw one truth shine clearly, you cannot miss your glorious arrival. And had I lived to do what I meant to do, I would have cheered and seconded your work, observing heaven so well disposed toward you. But that ungrateful and malignant stock that came down from Fiesole of old and still smacks of the mountain and the rock, for your good works will be your enemy. And there is cause. The sweet fig is not meant to bear its fruit beside the bitter sorb tree. Even the old adage calls them blind, an envious, proud, and avaricious people. See that you root their customs from your mind. It is written in your stars, and will come to pass, that your honors shall make both sides hunger for you, but the goat shall never reach to crop that grass. Let the beasts of Fiesole devour their get like sows, but never let them touch the plant, if among the rankness any springs up yet, in which is born again the holy seed of the Romans who remained among their rabble when Florence made a new nest for their greed." "Ah, had I all my wish," I answered then, "you would not yet be banished from the world in which you were a radiance among men. For that sweet image, gentle and paternal, You were to me in the world when hour by hour you taught me how man makes himself eternal, lives in my mind, and now strikes to my heart. And while I live, the gratitude I owe it will speak to men out of my life and art. What you have told me of my course, I write by another text I save to show a lady who will judge these matters, if I reach her height. This much I would have you know. So long, I say, as nothing in my conscience troubles me, I am prepared for fortune, come what may. Twice already in the eternal shade I have heard this prophecy, but let fortune turn her wheel as she please, and the countryman his spade. My guiding spirit paused at my last word, and turning right about, stood eye to eye, and said to say to me, "Well heeded is well heard." But I did not reply to him, going on with Sir Brunetto to ask him who was with him in the hot sands, the best born and the best known. And he said to me, "Of some who share this walk, it is good to know. Of the rest let us say nothing, for the time would be too short for so much talk. In brief, we were all clerks and men of worth, great men of letters, scholars of renown, all by the one same crime defiled on earth. Priscian moves there along the wearisome sad way, and Francesco de Corso, and also there, if you had any longing for such scum, you might have seen that one the servant of servants sent from the Arno to the Bacchiglione, where he left his unnatural organ wrapped in cerements. I would say no more. But there across the sand a new smoke rises, and new people come, and I must run to be with my own band. Remember my treasure, in which I shall live on. I ask no more." He turned then, and he seemed across that plain like one of those who run for the green cloth at Verona, and of those more like the one who wins than the one who lose.